Hello everyone, so today Akne, welcome back to my YouTube channel, the Bookish Khmerican. Today I'm going to be doing my Finally Fall book tag. The Finally Fall book tag has been around on BookTube for a while, but I haven't ever gotten the chance to film a Finally Fall book tag or any book tags. So this is basically a list of questions that you have to answer and choose a book based on the questions. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I usually watch these book tags and I think they're so fun, so I really wanted to do this one. So the first question is, in fall the air is clear and crisp. Name a book with a vivid setting. So for this one I chose Vicious Spirits by Kat Cho, and this one is about a high school girl named Gu Myung, and she is a gumiho or a nine-tailed fox, and she lives in Seoul, South Korea, and she meets a lot of friends along the way, including Ji-hoon, who is a schoolboy who is her classmate, and also Junwoo, who is a dokebi goblin, and she also meets another friend who is featured in this book a lot, named Somin. So this is a duology. The first one is Wicked Fox, this one is Vicious Spirits, so this is the second book to the duology. This features a lot of the stories of Somin and Junwoo and their relationship and them trying to save Ji-hoon from a spirit that goes into his body and takes over his body named Sinhai. This is a really atmospheric book. It's super transformative, so if you're looking for a really great read to kind of have an escape, then this is a really good book. And it also has a lot of food that is in Seoul, South Korea, so it's a really good read, and so I highly recommend this one if you want an atmospheric read. Nature is beautiful but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. This one I chose When Broken Glass Floats by Chanrithy Him. This is a memoir of Chanrithy Him's story as her family and herself journey out of Cambodia from the killing fields and from the Khmer Rouge, which happened from 1975 to 1979. This accounts her journey and her family's story as they escape Cambodia. So this is a really hard-hitting story. It's a lot about loss, it's a lot about grief. So if you're looking for a really great historical nonfiction book and something that is dealing with loss or grief and something that's really heavy, then this is a perfect one. But this is also beautifully written, and there's the title in itself is just very beautiful. It's called When Broken Glass Floats, and something in the book that stands out, like a quote, is something that she mentions about how people are really fragile and how they're can really break easily like glass, but then they have a lot of struggles, but then at the end of the day they can really redeem themselves and be resilient, and they can really float on the water and be beautiful. So this one is a really captivating story. It's very riveting, and so I highly recommend this book. Especially if you are Khmer American or Khmer, this is a really good read. The third question is, fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. So I'm going to be sharing two books. The first one is Green Island by Shawna, and this one is about a family who is living under the Taiwan martial law that happened, and this one is a historical fiction, but there's a lot of elements in here than most of the book that is set in a non-fiction setting, because the martial law really did happen in Taiwan, and actually this book taught me a lot about that because I never knew about the Taiwanese martial law. So this book is really bringing a lot of awareness about that, and a lot about the people that got affected by it, and so this is a really hard-hitting book and I really enjoyed it. The dad, or Baba, in the story is captured for trying to speak out against the government. He gets tortured a lot in the story, especially in the very beginning, which is not a spoiler, and then he comes back into the family's life, and the family doesn't know how to react to him coming back, and they kind of have mixed feelings about it. So and then there's a lot of like intergenerational trauma that goes on with this story, and I think it's really important because we see a lot of wars or traumatic things happen within the Asian American community and Asian community, and so this is a really important book, and I think it captures the essence of that. And it creates the dialogue between the younger generation and the older generation, and really combines those two stories, and really bridges the gap that it happens a lot within these kind of similar stories. The second book that I'm going to be sharing is Educated, and this is a memoir by Tara Westover. Having gone through a lot of dangerous, traumatic events throughout the years of her life, and then leading up to the point where she couldn't take it anymore and she really wanted to get her education and go to school. She was highlighting a lot of the like toxicity that she saw throughout like her childhood experiences growing up, and she detailed it in the book, and there's a lot of points where she feels like it's dangerous to stay in this family, and then she really tries hard to get her education. And this book was really educational, and it taught me a lot, especially the powerful message that education is super powerful, and it can be something that you can shape, and it's something that no one else can take away from you. And it's just a really, really good book that is so inspiring. The fourth question is, in order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people we love. Name a fictional family or household or friend group that you'd like to be a part of or live with. This is the book that I picked. It's called I Love You So Mochi, and this is by Sarah Kuhn. Kimmy is a Japanese American girl, and she's from America, so she goes to Japan to really find her identity and her true self. And she loves making outfits, and she loves fashion, but then her family says, okay, it's not a good idea to do that. But she goes to Japan, tries to figure out what she really wants from her life and wants for herself that goes against like her family's expectations. So she meets this boy who inspires her. This one is just a really cute story. This one, it has travel involved, so it has travel to Japan involved. It has the Asian American kind of identity story in that, and it's just, their family is just really great. And I love Akira as a character. It's overall a heartwarming story about finding your identity as an Asian American. The colorful leaves are piling on the ground. Show us a pile of fall-colored spines. These are the colorful spines. So I just went from like red, like I chose red colors and like yellow books and some orange books. I have mostly red books. First one I have is Falling Leaves by Adeline Yenma. First They Killed My Father by Lung Ung. Mountains Beyond Mountains by Tracy Kidder. The Dinner List by Rebecca Searle. The Giver by Lois Lowry. The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And Allegiant by Veronica Roth. Fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book written wherein somebody is telling a story. So I chose The Magical Language of Others by E.J. Koh. She is telling her story during her childhood when her parents had left her to go to Seoul, South Korea, and they had to move to get better job opportunities. Her parents had to leave her and her brother behind. Throughout this whole story, E.J. Koh incorporates letters from her mother that her mother had written to her, but she had stashed them away and they were kind of forgotten letters. But then she looked through them again years later, and she incorporates it throughout this book. And there are 49 letters, and in Buddhist tradition, 49 letters is like the time when the spirit, your life is wandering. So 49 is the number of days a soul wanders the earth for answers before the afterlife. So yeah, she incorporates those 49 letters throughout this book. The nights are getting darker. Share a dark, creepy read. So I chose the series of unfortunate events. This is the Hostile Hospital, and I am watching the Netflix series right now, and it's really, really good. And I thought watching it was super, super dark and creepy, even though this series somehow is a children's novel, and I read this when I was a kid. But I feel like it's such a creepy read, and it's great for October right now. But I read this book when I was a kid, and I thought it was also really creepy. But on the TV show, it's super, super creepy, and it's like taking place in a hospital, and we have all these patients, but Count Olaf is disguising himself as like a doctor, and it's just super creepy. The days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. Because this question says cold, it says rainy, and heartwarming, I immediately thought about Rachel Lynn Solomon's Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. And this book is set in Seattle, Washington, which is perfect because it's cold and it's rainy there. And this is a heartwarming love story about two high school students. One of them is Rowan Roth, and the other one is Neil McNair. And together they are rivals in their high school, and they have such a huge banter all the time about who is going to be valedictorian, who's going to be the most successful, who's going to win, basically. And like in this book, they have to go on this like quest that it's like a game that seniors do at the end of their year before, or like after, I think before graduation or after graduation, and it's called The Howl. And it's like a senior class game. They both pair up eventually together, and they have to go around Seattle, around their city, and they have to find all of these like clues, and they have to solve it before the night ends and before graduation. They kind of have to put their rivalry aside and pair up and try to win. It's perfect for October and for the fall season. I really love this book. It's super, super good. As fall returns every year, name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon. I have Divergent by Veronica Roth, and I read this book I think around 2014, and I love this book series so much. This is one of my favorite book series, and this one is about a girl named Tris Pryor who is trying to figure out her identity and who she is throughout this story and this society. The society that she lives in doesn't really understand what a divergent is, and they're trying to eliminate people who are divergent. She has characteristics of all these different factions, of the 5 factions that are detailed throughout this book. So she is erudite, she is dauntless, and she is abnegation. So they have different factions, and throughout this book it's faction before blood. So she basically leaves her family from abnegation and goes to join the dauntless, who are known to be very brave and very strong. And so she really leaves her family behind, but she has to make the choice of is that the right thing to do, or is her family most important? So she really goes on this journey to really figure her identity out for herself. So I really love this one, and I'm currently rereading this right now. The second book that I have here is John Green's Paper Towns. So this one I really, really enjoyed. This is a book about Quentin Jacobson, and he lives right next door to a girl named Margot Roth Spiegelman, and he is so like head over heels for her. He loves her so much, and she basically is such a mystery to him, and she leaves a lot of clues around, and then one day she leaves a clue and she like disappears, and then he's trying to go on this journey to like find her with his friends, and then throughout all of this he's trying to kind of understand himself, and he is like such a serious type of guy like throughout this whole story, but then like throughout this journey, Margot's disappearance kind of helps him see another side to life that he hasn't experienced and he hasn't seen before, and that's like part of what his journey is about and what this book is about. And I love this one so much, and this one I think is John Green's best writing in this. It's his best book, so if you haven't already read this book, definitely read this one because it's amazing. As fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights, share your favorite cozy reading accessories. So for the accessories, I don't really use any fall accessories except for my pillow and my blanket, and I also use my earphones. If I'm not reading an audiobook while I'm reading like an ebook or print book, I'm usually putting my earphones in, and I listen to spa music while I'm reading. I just think it's really relaxing for some reason. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Akunjran. Thank you for watching The Bookish Khmerican. If you like the content of this channel where I talk about Cambodia, books, and school life, please subscribe below, share, like, Jojek, and comment below of what your favorite fall reads are. And thank you so much for watching and have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!